All right, so we're about to jump into the UVs, but before we do, there's something that's very important. Whenever you create geometry via Quadra or Retop or whatever, it can oftentimes have errors like laminate faces or two verts sitting in the same spot or whatever. So I like to just run a mesh cleanup operation. So if you go to mesh cleanup and then grab the little options there, the stuff that we want to do initially, I'm just going to have it selected so that we can see where the problems are. We want faces with more than 4 sides. I don't really care about the rest of the stuff. We want to look for laminate faces, which is 2 faces sitting in the same place. Non-manifold geometry would be like if I had like an extra edge on the inside surface that was connected to these. Basically, an edge can only have 2 faces attached to it, and you have a third face. That's problematic. So that's non-manifold geo. And then any edge that's got a length shorter than this value, or any face with an area smaller than that value, we want to just flag that stuff because it's probably not correct. So we'll go ahead and select all the geo and select matching polygons as enabled. And we'll just go ahead and apply, and you can see that the blade looks good, but yes, there are problems sprinkled throughout the rest of the geo here. And we can just kind of take a look at this thing as an example, our little spacer. So we'll do a hide unselected. And it looks like we've got like laminate faces most likely. And you could double check that by turning stuff off and trying to fix it or whatever. But basically what this means, we can select it. I'm not sure about that piece there, but if we just hit delete, if we don't see any holes, that's what that was. They're basically just 2 sets of faces in the same place. So once you've done that, you can see the edges are a little bit gnarly right now, so we can just go back and do another unlock on mesh display. We'll unlock the normals, and then we'll just soften everything. And it doesn't have to look good, it just has to look soft. Like, we just want to make sure that we can actually modify the geo and have it behave the way we want it to behave. So okay, that's fine. So I could have skipped all of the manual stuff just by enabling cleanup. That will almost always be fine. So let me go ahead and show last hidden. We will select everything and turn on cleanup and just hit apply. So that's just a best practices thing. Your geo may be fine, like this thing was okay. There were a couple parts of this that might have been all right, but there's almost always going to be something in there. And it can cause problems when you try to like relax your UV shells or whatever. So okay, let's start with the blade. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reuse the texel space for the one side for the other side. And the easiest way to do that is you just delete half, lay the UVs out, and then basically mirror the geo over. So I'm going to need a center line here on this little internal area. So let me go to edge mode, grab that ring, go to mesh tool or edit mesh, and then connect. And then I'm just going to make it easy to delete those faces there. Okay, cool. So that's half the knife. And then I'm going to also need to separate this top surface, the blade, and the back of it. Because when I mirror it, I don't want there to be a line going down the top of it. And if I try to stack the UVs, I'll get a line. So I'm going to grab that outside edge, and we'll just go to select, and then convert selection to faces. And I can hop over to my UVs. And we'll do a create camera based, and then I can grab the rest of these and do another create camera based. So in this, I'm going to go ahead and do some cuts in places that make sense so that this isn't one giant strip, and it'll actually unfold nicely and then pack nicely. So I basically just cut it at the end there, and then at the back corners. And I may add some additional cuts. I don't know, we'll have to see. But that's the minimum I would do. So we'll just add a cut in the UV shells and do an unfold. And I suspect once these things have been mirrored over, especially this one, it'll actually pack a little bit more uniformly. It'll be more linear. All right, so the blade, I guess I still need to do this piece here. Great, okay. And this thing, probably want to rotate it. Let's go ahead and show last hidden. We'll grab this. I'm going to go ahead and just do a camera based on it now. Display hide unselected. So when I'm double clicking these edges, and it'll only go as far as it can figure out what the next edge is going to be, and as soon as it hits a triangle, it no longer knows. So that's something to keep in mind as you're doing UVs. And I don't really want there to be any of these edges. I'm just trying to isolate the back surface here. All right, let's see, we'll grab those. Another way to do this would just be to select all the faces on the back. That's probably the exact same amount of time and effort with the exact same result. All right, I'm just going to get some of this stuff out of the way, go into wireframe. Looks like I missed that one. And I've got some stuff over here I don't want. Cool. All right, so now we'll go to cut. Make sure I've got 2 shells. And on this one, I'm going to need to separate this inside stuff. So I think I might be able to use that same trick by selecting the edge and then grabbing the associated faces. Might be a little bit easier here. Okay, cool. So we got those. We've got to select, convert selection to faces. And then I actually don't want any of these at all. Looks like we've got those outside faces as well, which actually makes sense. I guess I did kind of ask for those, so I'm going to deselect that stuff. What I'm trying to do is remove these the shell here on the inside. I need to do a control select on that to deselect. And if this isn't entirely clear, that's fine. You'll know as soon as I'm done what the point was, and then you can go about doing it in your very own way if you like. I mostly just want this stuff here. All right, and then we can come over and do a create camera based. And now we can do some layouts here. We've got our unfold. Looks like that's got a little bit of a weird angle there. This piece will ultimately end up being scaled significantly down because we can't see it. And this is going to be that, that circular area up here. So we'll just add a cut there so it'll unwrap. And let's see what's going on here. We're going to need to add some cuts to make this thing not go crazy. So we'll keep this little circular feature separate. And then we can cut it like right there and right there. And let's do some unfolding and see how that looks. Yeah, totally fine. Just getting these things either vertically or horizontally oriented. Oh, and for this piece here, I'm going to add a cut like right there, because otherwise it's just going to be kind of in the way. It's like an awkward shape to pack around, so we'll do a cut there. And I can grab this section. Cool. All right, we will continue this in the next video.